Hey everybody, I'm here in Venice with Rose.
Hello.
And we're kind of experimenting here. Trying a little 360. If you're not aware, Invisible People is partnering with Oculus, or Oculus, I should say, has Rose partnering with Invisible People to produce a 360, no, not a 360, a VR, right?
Yeah,
what are we doing?
It's an interactive VR piece.
So, over the last couple of months, Rose has been out on the streets with me a bunch of times. Tell me how you've changed out handing out
I feel like we
socks.
should go to that side of the thing.
Okay.
Running out of
Always the director you are.
just
Always the director.
run out of landscape.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, there's been a lot that I've learned, I think. And that there's so much to learn. There's so much I'm still learning, and it's been just, it was so fortuitous to be paired with you and your organization, and to just do I think sometimes we fear people who are homeless so much. That's what's going on right here in Venice as we speak, as people are resisting a shelter a wonderful location for a shelter that could house like 200 people. Is it?
It's 100 adult beds and 50 youth beds.
And there's just all this resistance, and it's just like that fear. And when I think about my own self and like my own fear, I've lived in a city all my life, so I've always thought about homeless as being just a condition of a city, as something that is just natural. And I think what we have to really realize is that it's not, and it shouldn't happen. And we are not so different. Those of us who have an apartment or a set of keys, or none of us are that many steps away from being homeless ourselves. And I think that's the idea, that people think that they are so different and maybe better or blessed.
Yeah.
Hashtag is
Hey, I like
ridiculous.
that blessed hashtag. So this is your second time spending time with me out here on the boardwalk.
No,
And we've made some friends.
we have.
In fact, cue the friend.
Oh yeah.
We've made some friends out here. What are your thoughts about the people that are sleeping rough?
It's so funny because when we were at Skid Row and things like that, and in Koreatown, and there's just different experiences of homelessness, and I think that here, I think people are I'm just chilling on the beach. There's a little bit of that here, and it's true that you do get sunshine, and and the community feels different.
Yes.
Every community has a different vibe, just like any neighborhood. When you start to realize kind of there's a microcosm of society. It is society. It's part of society, but it's its own sort of subculture.
Yeah. Well, today we met David, who's living in an RV with his daughter.
Cool, dude.
We hung out with CJ, who's been out here. She says she was a beach bum for a year and a half, and then she said she had fun, but then now she's been out here 4 years, and she needs help to change her life.
Yeah.
Well, I saw a video on YouTube the other night that had the history of Venice, and I didn't know, this Abbott Kenny guy kind of made this party town, and it was known as the city of fun. You came to Venice to have fun, and that's why people move here. There goes Rose directing me again.
There's 2 lanes of there's 2 pedestrian lanes, it seems.
There is.
I'm such a rule follower.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I've never been good at following rules. We spent some time talking to Kenneth.
It's been out here for 5 years.
Yeah. how has meeting homeless people changed your views on homelessness?
I think that I mean, starting with, kind of looking at your work, looking at, your channel on YouTube, and then just being out here in the reality of it has all, I think it's the useful nature of being like, it's very important for us to know that we are, I know it sounds like so ridiculously kind of simplistic, but that we are all people who deserve like respect and dignity. These are not different people. And I think that's the problem sometimes.
Let's walk up.
Yeah.
This is the MTA lot, the proposed location for the new bridge shelter. Thought you might want to take a look. One of the most famous. I was waiting for you.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't have. He's trying to sell me one of these every day.
Oh yeah.
Almost every day.
$20.
Yeah. We'll get one before I leave. We'll get one.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Buy it today for $20.
He even
I got
takes
$3 in my pocket. I'll just give it to you.
Use your credit card.
I don't have one with me.
Yeah.
Use his credit card.
We don't have that kind of relationship.
Besides being
I'll put a down payment on it.
Besides being a good musician.
That's for my serenade.
Besides
That's
being
my band rehearsal.
That's my band rehearsal. I thought that was my serenade, my personal serenade.
Besides being a Venice icon, you're also a good salesman.
He's off and running.
Yeah. So, tell me about the piece we're doing.
The piece is called You Can Look, You Can't Look But You Can Touch. And basically kind of it sort of references the fact that we often don't look at people who are homeless. Look them in the face or smile or even say hello. Which interestingly enough is something that a lot of people end up saying
Right.
That's what I feel. Yeah, I know you would. In the interviews, right? Like today, he was just saying, like, sometimes, like, don't treat me like I'm so different. Like, sometimes it's like just a hello or a smile or like a hug. Like, treat me like a person. So anyway, in this piece, you meet a character who's not really fully defined at the beginning and who lives in a tent. We're going to use volumetric capture to capture the interior of the tent, and you're left inside the tent, just as sort of a third-person viewer. You're sort of an anonymous. You're you. Inside that tent, there will be things of that individual's that you'll be able to interact with, and through interacting with those objects, you'll come to know this person. They'll reveal history of this person. They'll reveal a certain amount of imagination, which is very important for me to not just deal with the idea of homelessness, but really show, like, you know, everybody, it's like when you walk down Venice Boulevard, everybody has artwork down here. This is where all the artists go. And I think we think that people become just these singular monolithic things, like homeless. But everybody's so dimensional. And I want to sort of show that in the project. At the end of the piece, the tent is actually taken away, and you see finally where you're at and the circumstances under which you've been living. And the person who owns the tent comes back and sort of looks you in the eye, and that's how the piece ends. And if it all goes very well, the whole point of it is really, you know, as we've been kind of learning, or as I've been learning about homelessness, there's so many varying opinions of what the solution is, you know, to ending homelessness. And I felt like it then became important to me to create a piece where you are in the experience of homelessness, and you lose the thing that you've come to sort of care about.
Right. You're home. You lose home again.
Yeah, and to have you feel sort of viscerally sort of what that feels like. If you feel angry about it being taken away, if you feel, I don't know, there are a number of things you might feel. Sad, protective of her things or his things, depending on who our subject is. Yeah, but that's the piece. Yeah. So it's not just like, you know, at the end of the piece, it's like WW give to this.
Yeah.
It's like really, because there are so many organizations that you can give to. There are so many ways that we can help, but it's hopefully, you know, I guess I'm hoping that someone will feel like looking someone in the eye.
Yeah.
Someone will like look the next time they see someone who's homeless, know that, oh, let me consider the fact that this person has a life, a history, people who love them.
Yeah.
Most, you know, like in the piece, you get a call on the phone.
Yeah.
And there's some voice interaction there where you have to answer this person's phone.
Yeah.
And you get to hear a loved one talk to them.
Very, very cool. I'm excited. Mm-hmm. And everybody, I'm just testing out a 360 camera with a 360 expert. And
not an expert.
Hopefully we'll be doing more of this stuff. Please click like, please subscribe, leave a comment, and support us on Patreon.
Bye.